Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are watching from the different parts of the world. I sincerely welcome you back to the Ezekson Hamidu YouTube Sports channel, where we keep enlightened with the current sports updates in the entire world, in all the sporting events that you would like to know about. I will first welcome you from what we had or what was a very busy schedule at the weekend. Hope everything was well. For our betting tips, I think people we did not go that wrong. Those that guarded the Arsenal, everything was okay, as we had given Arsenal either to win or to draw. So, for those that entrusted the Sports Encyclopedia and you put money on that game, I hope everything was okay. You will keep following, subscribing, sharing, and commenting. Tell friends, tell relatives, tell nephews, tell uncles, and everybody to like, follow, comment on the Ezekson Hamidu YouTube Sports channel as the encyclopedia narrates. Today, our biggest headline, I will be talking about the injuries at Manchester United and their impact on Manchester United's performance this season. That's where we'll be heading, or that will be the main sporting uh, analysis, or that will be our hint that I will be talking about today. Remember previously, I will just take you back in the 2022-2023 season, when Manchester United had difficulties in the defense side and they had to go to Real Madrid to sign Rafael Varane. The reason why they signed Rafael Varane was to come as an experienced defender to resolve Manchester United's worries. That's after controversies with the likes of Harry Maguire, the former captain, Victor Lindelof in the defense, the Wan-Bissakas, the Rook Shaws, who were making a lot of mistakes in the defense. However, with his inclusion previously last season, we saw a Manchester United performing better in that they had taken years, almost centuries, without appearing in the Champions League. Because of such performances, Manchester United was well to bounce back in the Champions League. It had also taken 5 years without taking a trophy domestically. But last season, they managed to reach the FA Cup finals, where they were beaten by eventual winners, that is Manchester City, the neighbors. I give credit that Manchester United played well, despite the fact that they lost out to a better team. They played in the Carabao Cup in the final at Wembley against Newcastle. They won that game 2-0. Remember goals from Marcus Rashford and others to secure their first trophies domestically in 5 years. That hoped to be an improvement. However, when we dig deep on the reason why Rafael Varane was brought, is to sell off these players. That's the likes of Maguire, the likes of Lindelof, the likes of Dalot, who I think they cannot compete on international. They cannot compete in competitive games, given the threat of the opposite team that they are going to play. We felt out their effects previously on the game against Arsenal. You remember that game when it had started, though Manchester United being hammered by the injuries of two important defenders, that is Luke Shaw, I think one of the promising talent, and the England international, who is also started on the England national team. Rafael Varane got injury amidst the preseason towards off-friend release. So this was a huge impact on Manchester United's performance this season. Remember, they are competing in all trophies this season. They are in the Champions League, they are in the Premier League, they are in the Carabao Cup, they are in the FA Cup, they are in the Premier League, so every competition here matters. But what can Manchester United have to do amidst the challenges to settle in with these defenders they have? Uh, all we know that Harry Maguire is a good player when he's playing on the national team, but I've taken comparison most times between Harry Maguire and other defenders, and people were asking the Sports Encyclopedia, why is it that Harry Maguire, when he's on the national team, he performs better than when he's at Manchester United? I gave them those people who always follow me, mostly, who also have my telephone number, called me, and I answered them differently. Harry Maguire, I remember in the English Premier League, it is a very competitive league where you face different key stars in the entire globe. I remember everybody competing almost in the Premier League. They are almost all starters on their national side. However, when Harry Maguire goes to the national team, amidst all the challenges he faces at Manchester United, at the national team, their defense is patterned up well with different huge players of big profile. For instance, when he's on the national team, is with players like Alexander Arnold, that is a very good defender. Players with Richie James, who is also a very good defender. Ben Chilwell. So the cover up is very massive. So it's rare to be exposed. Amidst that, even the teams they play in the friendlies, in the Euro qualifiers, remember, England plays Faroe Islands, England plays Cyprus, England plays San Marino, England plays Cyprus, San Marino, Faroe Islands. There are many teams there in Europe who I expect that are weak. That his biggest exposure is when he faces teams like Portugal, teams like Spain, teams like Belgium, teams like Germany, teams like France, and teams like Netherlands. But how often does it happen? That's why you always say that he's a better defender on the national team. But the answer is he is playing against weaker opponents. Back to the point at Manchester United. Manchester United really lack a depth in squad as per the moment. Despite the fact that they have injury worries of Rafael Varane and Luke Shaw, and the immediate replacements, that is John Evans, who was captured, or the OB from Leicester City. That one was brought because where you always live in good harmony, you always come back in good harmony. That's why he was made to come. Remember even the injury they got of Martinez. After Martinez being taken off the pitch, remember he had handled the defense very well, and his partnership with Onana was working out well. However, pressure mounted when he was exited off the pitch. So that's when Arsenal had the opportunities to grow some or to pile more pressure on the Manchester United defense. However, I cannot only rule out the defense that was not performing well. Even Manchester United's defense, midfield, was not working out well. The Casemiro we saw last season, or the Casemiro of Real Madrid, is not the Casemiro that is replicating issues at Manchester United. Previously, last season, he had a better season. He played off well. But this season, we don't see Casemiro anywhere. Bruno Fernandes, the captain, sometimes they say that lead by example. I remember his season when he was captured from Sporting Lisbon in the January transfer series. He performed to the best, and I think was almost the best performer in the entire second round. But this season, or ever since then, his football is diminishing. He's not performing out to the heights we expected him. And also he has issues when he faces big teams. His football is down, unless when there is a penalty. But in terms of play, passing, creativity, he's really absorbed. So I give credit to the Arsenal midfield that absorbed the Manchester United midfield. The only player who was somehow shouting out was Eriksen. I remember that the goal of Rashford is the one who passed that sprinter pass at Rashford, and he had to score. So what does Erik ten Hag has to do, my followers? Erik ten Hag has to continue to make sure that the dressing room believes in him. At least I can give him credit after the signature of Rasmus Højlund. The moment he was introduced on the pitch, you saw Arsenal defense starting to panic. It started to panic that he has energy. I think this one can be a good signing and can help out the Manchester United team. However, how will he be successful when the creativity in the midfield is missing? Manchester United has to pile more midfielders so that they create opportunities to the different players or to the strikers. Rashford only scores goals when Manchester United is on a counter-attack. So the problem that is in Manchester United is the midfield and the defense. The problem is not the coach. So as a team, they have to get back to the drawing board. They add more players to the midfield. Good news, they have captured the signature of Moroccan player, that is Amrabat, Sofian Amrabat from Fiorentina, on a season-long deal. I hope this player, when he is introduced, Manchester United will get time to come back or to bounce back. Remember, we are out for almost 2 weeks and we'll be bouncing back here in the Premier League on the 16th. It's time for international break, but for the followers of His Excellency Amido, those that like sports betting, those that want to see which teams may win, those that think or want analysis on their different players on the clubs, you can still continue to follow me or call me on 0702 970572 or 0785016202 or email isexonamido@gmail.com. Thanks for watching. I'm out for now.